Hello everybody, welcome to Nana's Journey, and we are still working on the dishcloth quilt. It comes from this book, Somewhat in the Middle by Susan Smith. And if you want to know about the quilt and the fabric requirements, I'll leave a link to the introduction video in the description below. And I can't give out the cut sizes because it's not my pattern. But this is the quilt that we are making. And we're doing 3 blocks today. This one has got that extended sawtooth star on it, along with some checkerboard and plain pieces. And this is what I'm using for the star. And then I've got a variety for the checkerboard. And here's the other pieces. We are also doing this block right here. I've just got some stripes and a churn dash, and I've already got these marked. I just take my 1/2-inch ruler and I put the line from corner to corner, and I mark on each side with a friction pin, and the marks erase with the iron. And then I sew on the lines and then cut in between here. And ooh, those are supposed to be right sides together. And then I will have 2 half-square triangles. Make sure that one was backwards too. So, and then there's the other pieces for that. So that one will go really quick. And then this one, instead of cutting fabric and sewing them together, I just grabbed some ribbon and I'm just going to sew that on there, like so. And just keep the piece whole. I've got an applique. This is, again, supposed to be embroidery. These are just place markers. There's probably little flowers, you know, with stems and everything are supposed to be there. But I just grabbed this piece off of the fabric that I've been using, and I will just iron that on. What I did is I took some heat and Bond-A-Lite, and I ironed the bumpy side to the back of this fabric, and then I cut it out. And then when I'm ready, I will just peel off the backing, place it where I want it, and cut it out. And I just use regular scissors to cut them out. And then we've got 2 9 patches. So I've just got my red and my cream here. And I'm actually going to start with this one because it has the applique, and then we will just work on putting the other blocks together. So let's get over to the sewing machine. Okay, I've got my applique ironed on. See, it's not moving. And I have some tearaway stabilizer. I have got monofilament thread in the top. And of course my standard cream in the bottom. I've got my zigzag stitch at 1.8 width and 0.8 length. And I even have my knee press in this time. So let's just... Okay, now we just have to tear off the stabilizer, and then we can get to work on the rest of the block. Okay, I've taken my friction pin and I just drew some lines to help me with my ribbon so they're straight. I think these are like 1.5 inches in. This that's the edge, that's why it looks off the middle, but that'll be there. That'll come on this side of the line. These two will come on this side of the line. And then this one will be, I think, on that side of the line. So, kind of like it there. I think once the seam allowance is taken in, it'll look the same. So, forgot to get my machine switched over, so let me change my presser feet and my thread, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got everything changed. I'll just, I should probably use red thread with this. Okay, be back in a minute. Okay, I've got some red thread, and I've got my needle moved to the right. Just line this up. Okay, I'm going to take that out and put some stabilizer beneath, and then try that again. Okay, I've got some tearaway stabilizer, and this time things should work. Much better. Okay, now I just need to trim off these threads and tear away the stabilizer, and then we can move on to the next part. Okay, here's our finished unit. I've got all the pieces torn off, and you could see what a difference the stabilizer made when sewing the ribbon down. So now I've got my 2 9 patches laid out, and I'm just going to put right sides together. I made sure all the pieces were right side up. And now I need to change my thread back. Okay, I've changed my thread, my presser foot, my needle's back in the center position. And I didn't program the needle change. I'll put this down. Okay, now I'm ready to go. Okay, now let me get these separated and pressed to the red fabric, and I will be right back. Okay, we're ready to put on the other blocks. Then we'll get those pressed, and then we'll sew the rows together. Okay, we will also press those to the red, and then we'll sew the rows together. Okay, and there are our 2 9 patches. Now we just need to put a 9 patch on each side of our applique. Okay, there's that row. And we're going to put these together like this. And there is our block. Now we can get started on the next one. The first thing we're going to do is the half square triangles for the churn dash block. Okay, I'm just going to cut in between these, and then I will iron them open, and then we can finish putting the block together. I've got them pressed and trimmed. I didn't feel like moving my camera, but I believe you all know how to trim. Just make sure your 45-degree line goes where you need it to go, trim, turn it, and do the same thing. If you've got your seam in the 45-degree line, then your seam will go from point to point and you'll have a nice square. So now let's put this churn dash together. You want your color to go on the inside. And I am missing my colored rectangles, so I'll have to get those. I'll be right back. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is put these 2 halves together. Then we can sew the rows together, and then we'll sew all the rows together. So let's get these units finished. Okay, let me get these pressed. Let's put these together. Okay. Now, we will sew these rows together. And I did press to the red. Now we are going to want to nest some seams here. And there's our block right there. Okay, now we just need to put these strips together. Okay, now that we've got those strips together, we're just going to attach these to the squares. It's basically a 4-patch. And we have our block finished. Now let's do the next one. Now this one, that's the star center. And we want to put these right sides together. Okay, let me get these pressed and trimmed and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got those trimmed and pressed. There was 8 sets of the half-square triangles that I sewed, which gave me 16 triangles. And these are the direction that I want them to go, so now I can just put them together and sew. Okay, let me get this pressed and I'll be right back. Okay, now that those pairs are put together, you want to sew them into a row. You want to make sure you have your flying geese once it's put together and that all the points are going out towards the corners. And then these seams you'll press open. Let me put the corners on 2 of these rows and then get them pressed, and then we can put it on the center star. Okay, now we have the top and the bottom, and we are just going to put the sides on, and then we will put on the top and bottom. We're going to nest these seams. Okay, there's that unit. Now we want to put these in pairs, right sides together, which means the red is the only one that really has a right side. Okay, now I need to press these so they can nest. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take those, flip it over, right sides together, and sew that. Okay, now we're going to sew these together so that it goes like this. Nest the seams. And then we'll sew those two halves together. I forgot I turned the recorder off, so I did some without recording. Sorry about that. So what we're going to do now is we are going to put these two units together. Then we are going to put our checkerboard up here, and it's too big. Okay, when I cut these out, I cut them 1/2 inch too big because I was looking at the wrong cutting instructions, but just took off 2 squares and it works just fine. Okay. There's the last block we did. There's this block and the churn dash. I'm going to put that, you can see them better this way. So I believe we just have 1 or 2 more blocks left, and then we will have all the blocks done, and then we can get to work on the borders. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time on Nana's Journey.